Hello, my name is Anna, and today I'm going to talk about CEMEX business case. CEMEX is a Mexican company that provides building products. It has become one of the leading cement manufacturers in the world with presence in more than 50 countries. The company has gone through many challenges, but they have been overcome thanks to its business strategy. It is difficult to globalize a company, and it is even more difficult when that company is from a developing country like Mexico. You need more efforts and you need to have the knowledge of advanced management techniques to create a common culture and common processes. Nowadays, the Mexican economic and political situations have changed in our favor. Mexico is currently one of the countries with the largest network of tax and information. The structure of Mexico's gross domestic product consists of services in at 61.8%, industry in at 34.2%, and agriculture in 4.1%. CEMEX is part of the industry sector, which means that the company is an important source of income for the country. In 1989, CEMEX acquired Tolteca Cement Company. After this, the company formed part of the top 10 list of world cement producers. In 1992, the company entered to Spain, then to Venezuela, and after this, to Panama and the Caribbean. The most important clusters in Mexico are the automotive cluster, aerospace industry, and finally the medical device industry. There are other local economies that are considered an important part of our economy, such as the agriculture, livestock, and textile industry. Since 1986, the decade when CEMEX began its globalization, Mexico has signed 10 free trade agreements with 45 countries. But how do these free trade agreements have helped CEMEX? Well, these trade agreements have provided the company facilities to open up foreign markets, reduce export and import barriers, and protection to the company's investment in a foreign country. Now let's get to know the economic activities of Mexico. Mexican primary sector includes agriculture, livestock, forestry, and fishing. The secondary sector, also well known as industry sector, is conformed by mining industry, electricity, gas and water supply, oil, construction, and manufacturing. The tertiary sector or service sector includes transportation, warehousing, and financial sector. CEMEX is an important player of the secondary and tertiary sector due to its participation in the construction and manufacturing industries and its services. It is important to know the Mexican context in order to understand the company's strategies and business model. One important aspect of the Mexican context is its culture and diversity. Mexico is considered the 14th largest country in the world. Its official language is Spanish, which is spoken by 92% of its population. The other 6% speaks indigenous languages. Family is a very important aspect of Mexican life. It is also important to know that 89% of the population consider itself as Catholic. Demographics is another important aspect to analyze in a business case. According to a Mexico demographic profile in 2014, the population of Mexico was around 121 million people. There are four major cities in the country, including Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Puebla. CEMEX is located in two of these principal cities. The company has plants in the city of Monterrey and Puebla. Now let's talk about the financial framework. The Bank of Mexico is the one in charge of the financial framework of the country. The bank is the one that commits to introducing policy and legal frameworks and to develop financial infrastructure in order to promote responsible financial institutions. The Mexican political structure is divided into three branches: the executive branch, legislative, and judicial branch. To own a company in Mexico, there are some requirements that every entrepreneur needs to have in mind. a zoning permit, you need to follow some environmental regulations, and also you need to get a health or sanitary license depending on your business. It is important to have in mind that every country has its own business environment and context, so CEMEX had to think in a better way to get through these challenges, and that's why they created the CEMEX Way. When CEMEX started its expansion outside Mexican territory, they realized that they needed to learn best practices at acquisition processes to reduce costs and accelerate the integration of new acquisition and new employees. The CEMEX Way was created to standardize processes, technology, and organizational structure across all countries. It is a benchmarking driven by four main points. Number one is efficiently manage the global knowledge base. Number two is to identify and disseminate best practices. Number three is to standardize business processes. And number four is to implement key information and internet-based technologies. With this strategy, the company was able to reduce costs, to improve and accelerate the integration of the new acquisitions, strengthen a common culture for all the organization, facilitate the innovation, and increase the ability of their personnel to create new technologies. But which variables can affect the strategy? Well, there are three main variables that can affect the strategy. Number one is experience and knowledge of the directive team. This situation affects in an important way the integration process because the directive team has to be trained and they need to learn how the business works in order to be in front of the company. Another variable is the culture. It is very difficult to establish a company in a country that has a very different culture. And the problem is that all the companies around the world need to be in communication and work together in order to improve the sales and production of the products. So that is why CEMEX decided to standardize an internal culture that allows the organization to work hand by hand. The last variable is the technology. Not all the countries come with the same technology advantages or the money to acquire them. So that is why CEMEX trains their employees to develop new technologies and be innovative with the processes. It is also very important to analyze the ones that help us to grow and become stronger. In our case, suppliers play an important part of the company. They are the ones that provide the company solutions to acquire goods, maximize their services, and help with the business sustainability. Investors are another important part of the company. They play a determinant role because they are the ones that give support to CEMEX and help them to globalize the company. With the money they invest, CEMEX has had the opportunity to become one of the most important CEMEX producers in the world. Also, without the help of the Mexican government and the trades they have made to expand the market all around the world, CEMEX could not have the chance to be as big as it is now. Thanks to these trades, CEMEX didn't have a lot of problems entering to markets in Europe, North America, or Asia. Nowadays, the social media is a key factor to help the growth of the company. It is important to have presence in the social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube in order to keep the society updated about the services and products of the company. The CEMEX way wasn't the only strategy that CEMEX created to grow against the competition and to increase its cost and productivity. They also count with sustainable development strategies. With these strategies, they make sure to cover the needs of their employees, providing them attractive opportunities for a personal and professional development. They also cover the needs of their business partners, helping them to grow their business, and they also take care of the environment. Since CEMEX is a global company, they contribute with international efforts to help with some of the most complex challenges of the world, including climate change, access to housing and community, infrastructure, and the conservation of biodiversity, always trying to make CEMEX a more competitive and profitable enterprise. In conclusion, it is important to be aware of the challenges that the companies face entering into international market, but it is also important to know the company's strengths, and once we have analyzed those challenges and strengths, we need to think about an ideal business strategy to help the company grow and succeed at an international level, avoiding future losses and problems in its development. Thank you for your time, and I hope that with this short video you can start worrying about the growth of the Mexican economy and start supporting Mexican enterprises. Together we can help Mexico to become a better place to invest in.